Hey, it's Ryan Patrick here at Peak Fitness and Sports Training, and today we're going to talk about the split squat. This is a great entry-level, quad-dominant single-leg exercise, and really is the foundation for any of the single-leg exercises that we're going to do that are quad-dominant. So before we can get anybody lunging, before we can have people moving around in a single-leg stance, we need to really step back and make sure that they can dominate and control all the things that go on in the split squat. We're going to be working on lumbopelvic stability, making sure we've got enough mobility through the anterior compartment of the quads and the hip flexors, as well as working on some core stability. And so I'm going to talk to you today about 3 cues that we use to kind of teach the split squat, and then also what you can do if you run into some complications. So the first thing we want to do is train track the feet. So I've got a PVC pipe set out here, and this is going to give me an optimal width that my feet need to work on as I perform the split squat. One of the things we see from this angle is that people will either go on the tightrope where their feet are in line, or they'll kick this back leg out too far and kind of make a broad stance, or what I like to call kickstand. So we're going to use this PVC to keep our feet train tracked. And what train track means is your feet are about hip width apart, and when you get into a split squat stance, you're going to stay at that same distance apart. So my feet are going to be just a couple inches on either side of this split squat. Second, as we execute this exercise, we want to make sure that we are maintaining a tall and tight torso. As we execute the split squat, there's a tendency to pitch forward or lose this nice tall spine. You got to remember, there's a big tug of war going on between this rear quad and its mobility or its joint mobility and flexibility, and this anterior core up here. If we lack flexibility or mobility through these joints and we don't have enough stability here, we're either going to lean forward as we execute the lunge, or we're going to tip forward at the waist. So tall torso. And the second thing is we want to get into a 90-90 position at the bottom. So as we lower, we want to make sure that that front knee is 90 degrees and that back knee is 90 degrees. You can see the stripes on my pants go in a nice vertical line. And so this will be your perfect 90-90 split squat. So some of the compensations we see regularly, again, shifting forward here in an effort to get that leg more extended, which leads to a forwardly rotated or anteriorly tilted pelvis, reduces the amount of stretch on that back leg, gets you out of where we really want to be. Second thing is the knee will go forward too. Now I don't necessarily care about knee over the toes, that's not what this argument's about. It's about not shifting away from what's going on here. So we've got a big tug of war going on between the core and this back quad as we lower. Now you want to split the ground. We have people push off the front leg in this direction and push through the back toes so that when they execute this, they're going straight up and down. If somebody's unable to maintain this position, or if it causes them pain, we may try them on a band-assisted split squat. So we have them take the band, set up the feet by train tracking, and then they're going to execute with a little bit of band assistance. As we get to the bottom where people tend to get weak or lose that core, they're going to have more assistance from the band. And at the top where they're strong, they're going to have a little less resistance. If somebody's able to do this version pain-free, but not a body weight version, it tells us that there's an issue with stability and how they are able to stabilize their body weight through the joints. If we can unload them and get a clean pattern that's pain-free, we know we need to start here. If flexibility is an issue, we'll take them to a half-kneeling quad stretch. Again, we've got the quads here and we're working on the rectus specifically because it's maximally stretched in this position. So we want to get in that same train track stance, keeping the torso tall and tight and grabbing the laces. A lot of people will try to bow into this, or they'll tilt their pelvis really hard. But if we can get some flexibility here, this will greatly improve the split squat. If people have trouble grabbing their laces or it leads to some body torque, what we'll do is we'll get a low box here and elevate so that they can get just enough stretch. In this position, we'll work on some of the other hip flexors, as well as staying tall and driving the glutes forward. These together should help clean up that split squat. From here, we can progress to a number of things. Pistol squats, forward and reverse lunges, things that cause people to dynamically move and absorb some impact. But remember, you need to start with the split squat. This has been your exercise of the week.